All right, here's something that might sting a little bit. The best contractor doesn't always get the job. The contractor that the homeowner trusts almost always does get the job. And if you've ever lost a project to somebody whose work definitely wasn't as good as yours, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. The question isn't who's the best contractor. The question is more like, who does the homeowner decide to pick? Who does the homeowner trust? Who does the homeowner like? So if you go in for a surgery, you don't get to pick the surgeon, and you can't judge how good of a job they are going to do before you get started on the surgery. Same thing with an accountant. It's really hard to judge accounting ability. And similarly, when somebody hires a contractor or a home service professional, they usually can't judge the quality of your framing or the waterproofing or the structural details or whether or not you use the right type of flashing, things like that. They simply don't have the experience. So they have to judge based on something else. And when somebody's making a big investment in their home, they aren't buying quality. What they're buying actually is certainty. What they're buying is a reduced risk, they hope. And going into the transaction, they're going to have all these questions running through their head, like, will these people actually show up? How are they going to communicate to me? Are they going to get the job done on time? Are they going to respect my home? Are they going to finish on budget? Am I going to regret this decision that I made 6 months from now? So the home service professional who answers all those questions is the one who's going to win the work from those people. It's not necessarily the contractor with the most skill or with the biggest portfolio or with the most high-profile jobs. By the time somebody fills out your contact form or they reach out to you by phone or email or however they're going to reach out to you, they've probably already gone to your website, they've looked at your Google reviews, they've checked your Facebook, they've looked at your Instagram, they've maybe watched some videos on your website. They've searched up your company's reputation on Google, things like that. And all of these different touch points contribute to them forming an opinion about you long before they ever actually speak to you. And so by the time you actually meet and talk with a potential customer, it feels like you're making your first impression, but what you're actually making is more like your 8th or your 10th impression on that person, given all the different things that they've probably looked at before they've actually even reached out. So if I'm looking at 2 contractors, or 2 business professionals, one who I've never heard of, and one whose trucks I see all the time, I see their projects, I see videos online, I see them answering tips and telling customer stories, and I'm seeing all this stuff for months before I actually need their service, well, I'm going to pick that company for sure. So something we have to kind of put in our heads that feels maybe counter to the way we believe or the way we think normally is that visibility as a business isn't vanity. It's more like familiarity, and familiarity creates trust. And what actually builds that trust? I mean, it's not like super fancy marketing. It's just simple proof. So it's educational videos, it's showing your process, it's showing some behind the scenes, it's introducing people to your team or your crew, it's customer testimonials, it's showing the before and after for projects that you've done. It's answering common questions that the consumers, that homeowners have. And every piece of those, every time you touch a customer in that way with those pieces of content, it builds that trust. So we have to stop trying to convince potential customers that we're the greatest or the best or the fastest. And what we have to do is just make them trust us more, because homeowners aren't going to hire the service professional that they know the best. They're going to hire the service professional that they feel the safest choosing, that they feel is going to be the safest investment of their money. And usually that kind of security, that feeling of security, comes from a place of trust. So building up trust with potential customers in the marketplace before they need to reach out to you is the most surefire way to make them select you. All right, that's it for this week. I hope you got something out of that. Have a good one. We'll talk to you next time.